Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chiseled. And why do we call it Chiseled? Because we're all work in progress. I'm your host, Rob Commodari. I'm also the author of the book Better Than You Think and co-author of the book Next Level Your Life. Today, I have a guest Justin Breen from the Chicago, Illinois area. Justin's written a couple books. He's a entrepreneur, and so on and so forth. And so, Justin, welcome to the show here today.
It's a great name. It's a great name for a show. And most of my day is talking. It's either spending time with my family or talking to the world's top visionaries. So not humans, not employees, not business owners, not consultants, just pure visionaries. And they've all chiseled themselves, and they try to get better every single day. They're always trying to create a better work of art by chiseling, and then that chiseling is it's removing the things that they don't like to do and are not good at, and just focusing on their core strengths, their pure genius. And it's fun to see that take place every single day by talking to these people.
Well, I appreciate that. And you earlier in a brief conversation, you told me how long you've been in the media world.
Well, I've been you're either born like this or you're not. I'm 46, so I was this person before I was born. I can explain what that means, but I mean, you're either born like this or you're not. You're either born top visionary on planet or you're not. I strongly feel that, and then most people aren't born like this, and then I just spend my day talking to people who actually understand what I'm talking about, and that's just happens to be top visionaries on planet. So my father was 61 when I was born, 61. My mom was 27. My dad was born in 1916. He'd be 107 now if he was alive. He was a World War II hero, shot down multiple times in combat, many times without a parachute. That's the ultimate chiseling, and he just got back into a plane. So you're either someone who can do that or not, someone who makes an excuse. So entrepreneur would never make an excuse. They just get back into the plane. And then he died when I was 13. He became attorney in Nuremberg, Nazi war crimes trials. And then after he died, I found a diary of his fighting in Battle of Hürtgen Forest, which was a very deadly battle towards the end of World War II. If you've read Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl, his diary is pretty close to that in terms of the horrors and the atrocities. And I write exactly like he does, just boom, 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 result, inform and entertain. So that's my dad. And then when he was in his late 50s, a drunk driver hit him head on a highway north of Chicago. Drunk driver was killed. My dad broke every bone in his body and survived. And then he woke up, and my mom was his nurse. He thought he was dead, and my mom was an angel, but it was my mom. She was 27 when I was born, and all I do is talk to visionaries, so not humans, not business owners, not consultants, just pure visionaries. And my mom has more hustle and drive than anyone I've ever met. So I'm here because of them.
So you said you've been in journalism for about 20 years or so? Is that what you told me earlier?
Well, yeah. So I was an entrepreneur who happened to be a journalist. And then started first company 6 years ago with zero business background. But usually visionaries are aliens within their own, usually, but not always, aliens within their own family, community, and verticals. The only people that understand us are top entrepreneurs on planet. So for 20 years, I was an entrepreneur who happened to be a journalist. Didn't know that until starting first company in 2017, but never understood negative news or political stuff, or I just never understood that. Just always connected and wrote about cool people changing the world, and then now write about and connect cool people changing the world. There's been no difference.
So when did you, like you said, you're either born like this or you're not. Now, when did you say to yourself, hey, I am a visionary? When did that?
Great question. Now the chiseling's happened. You have the rock, and now you're chiseling. I get it. So so spent most of my life talking to people who had no idea what I was talking about. Most of my life. So I'm 46. Really didn't understand who I was until COVID. That's when it went fully global and was able to have more conversations like this very quickly. Didn't understand what entrepreneur world was. Like, I have zero business background. So started first company in 2017 after job salary as journalist was cut in half, couldn't find a job. Incorporated 6 days after turning 40. And then while I was working full-time at half salary over 6 weeks, reached out to 5,000 people to find first 5 clients while working full-time half salary. So most people can't do that. They're not meant to do that. So really found out what I was made of during that. And then just continue to talk like this because you keep getting back into a plane. If it's been shot down without a parachute, you just get back into another plane. So if someone doesn't understand this, you just keep talking like this until you find out people who actually understand you, and have just found that the only people that really get it and where I can actually learn is from top entrepreneurs on planet. But you never stop. You always keep chiseling. You always keep talking like this, and then you keep getting better and better and better at it.
Do you think it's something somebody can learn, though?
So that's a great question. So here's how I'll answer that, because it's a great question. So you're either born top visionary on planet or you're not. I mean, because I think most people would choose this life, but they make excuses. They don't get back into a plane after another one's been shot down without a parachute. They just don't. That's why they're employees or small business owners or consultants. They don't think globally. They don't take risks. They don't. That's fine. Most of the world isn't like this. If you are born like this, which is rare, I'd say our firms partner maybe with 1 out of 1,000. Maybe. It's probably less than that, but if it's 1 out of 1,000, there's 8 billion people. 1 out of 1,000 is 8 million. So that's a lot of people. I mean, so the 8 million create everything that employs everyone else, or that people use, or, visionaries create everything that everyone else uses. So you're either born like that or you're not. But if you are, you can work and learn your mindset. You can build your mindset. You can chisel that every single day. So that's what I do every day. Just keep getting better and better at building my mindset of gratitude. And that attracts people that are grateful, and it repels people that are arrogant and don't understand what I'm talking about.
So you said something just now that it starts with, what I heard you say is it starts with gratitude.
100%. 100%. And so without exception, visionaries are extremely smart, mostly extremely high IQ, mostly very high IQ. And most visionaries usually, but not always, but most of them marry stabilizing humans. So most visionaries are in Kolbe, KOLB. They're high quick start, low follow through. So think ADD, diagnosed or undiagnosed. They're all over the place. And then their spouses, again, usually, but not always, are stabilizing humans that are low quick start, high follow through. So my wife is a pediatrician, or think like a teacher, a social worker, a nurse, a smart human, but a stabilizing human. And I've found and learned, to your earlier question, that the equivalent for that in mindset is that gratitude mindset. Gratitude is a stabilizing mindset for unstable visionary. It's the same thing as marrying a stabilizing human for your brain.
I love that analogy. I've never heard it put that way. The gratitude is a stabilizing mindset.
Right.
I never thought about that, because I have a gratitude journal myself every morning.
Oh, good.
I write 5 to 10 things down that I'm grateful for.
Every day?
When you
every
say
day?
stabilizes,
wait, you do that every day?
Yeah, every day.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
And so, when you say stabilize, you mean getting to a place of calm. When you say stabilize, is that from being all over the place ADD to okay, I'm grounded?
Okay. Great question. So the first thing I do every day is a grateful journal to my wife, what I'm grateful for her the previous 24 hours without her very bad situation. And then 5 days a week, do a grateful journal on LinkedIn, which I'll include in this. So when you're constantly grateful, it's really hard to be ungrateful. It does happen sometimes, but it's really hard. And then again, gratitude attracts gratitude and repels arrogance. So gratitude not only is a stabilizer for the person, but it's actually a magnet. And again, business owners don't think like this because they're concerned about transactional, revenue, employee count, office space, which I don't care about any of that stuff. A visionary cares about purpose, spending time with loved ones, true connectivity. Business owners, they care about, and humans, employees, consultants, they care about changing their world there. And a true visionary cares about changing the world. It's just a fundamental difference. But really, it all starts with, if you're not married to a stabilizing human, in terms of mindset, it comes down to having that grateful mindset, because there are only 4 types of visionaries, only 4. All I do is talk to visionaries and spend time with my family, and then learn from visionaries and simplify what they say into patterns. So I'm a high IQ pattern recognizer. That's what high IQ is, just pattern recognition. So there are only 4 types of visionaries, only 4. One is ADD, diagnosed or undiagnosed. It's not a disorder. It's a sign of genius mislabeled by humans who want order, so they label a visionary disorder. I mean, so it's not disorder, it's just not a human. So 2 is minor Asperger's. My wife, who is a doctor, has unofficially diagnosed me with that. So that's low in empathy, low in social cues, but very high in intelligence. 3 is dyslexia. 30% of visionaries are dyslexic. And then 4 is exceptionally high IQ and or EQ. So what a visionary actually is the most damaged person, the most damaged with the best coping skills, the highest IQ, highest EQ, most hustle, most courage. Now, visionaries just want to hang out with other visionaries. They don't want to hang out with business owners. They want to hang out with visionaries, changing the world, because it's 2 different ways of living life.
So you say damaged people. What did you mean by that?
You're a great simplifier and discernment galvanizer. If you've done Working Genius, Patrick Lancioni's thing, 6 types of working genius, you're a discernment galvanizer, which is what I am, and you're a simplifier. I can hear it. So this is what separates humans, business owners, consultants from visionaries. And again, all I talk to is visionaries. There are 4 things. 1, bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy. 2, depression. 3, highest level of anxiety that you can imagine. 4, likely and or possible traumatic experiences as a child or young adult. So for humans, small business owners, consultants, those are excuses. For a visionary, figure it out. Most of the people I talk to, and this has nothing to do with silver spoons, that's a separate conversation. Most of the people I talk to now, almost all of them are 3s and 4s. Most of them are all 4. When I first started, first company with 0 business background, I was still talking to employees and small business owners and consultants, and they were 1s and 2s out of those 4s. Now it's all 3s and 4s.
3s and 4s mean anxiety or traumatic experience.
Yeah, they're 3 of those 4 things, if not all 4. The really successful ones are almost always all 4.
Huh. Any reason why you think the really successful ones are all 4? And the reason I asked that question, Justin, the reason I asked that question real quick is like I think I could fall in 2 of those categories,
right?
But not all 4.
And you're a small business owner, correct?
Small business owner with some visionary.
Right. If you were 3 or 4, you'd be a visionary, pure visionary. The 2s and 1s, no. That's what it is. So I was talking to one of Africa's top. I'm 3 of the 4. 3 of the 4. The only one I haven't had to worry about, knock on wood, is bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy. And then again, started first company after job salary was cut in half and couldn't find a job. So figure it out. And now have 2 global companies that only partner with top visionaries on planet. So never would have had those 2 companies if job salary wasn't cut in half and couldn't find a job. So, but then you learn who you actually are, because the damage actually creates, the trauma creates the triumph, I guess, to answer your question.
I can see that. I can totally understand that. And I'm sitting here looking at it. Maybe there is a 3rd, or possibly a close to 3rd one for me.
Maybe close to 3rd. That's why you're the small business owner skirting with the vision. Yeah. Everyone I talk to now is, well, obviously not everyone, but almost everyone I talk to is 3s and 4s. The groups I'm in, and then created one, a high price point invite only connectivity group. But I invest a ton of money to be in these groups, well over 6 figures. Everyone in there, not the silver spoons, I don't count them, that's different. But everyone in there is 3s and 4s. Everyone.
When you say groups, are these networking groups?
Yeah. So my second company is called BrEpic Network. It's high price point invite only connectivity platform. The 2 I spend a great deal of time in are Strategic Coach 10X and then Abundance 360. I mean, top entrepreneurs in the world are in those groups. They're all 3s and 4s, all of them.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on LinkedIn. That's interesting. So I had a question earlier, kind of just eluded me here. I forgot where I was going to go with it, but so I know what it was. So you said in COVID, I guess it was 2020, 2021. That's when you realized who you were, right?
Yes. Okay.
So now, what do you say to the person who might not know they're a visionary? How do they discover they're a visionary?
I don't say anything to them. No. So because they'll chisel themselves. I don't say anything to them. So someone either can get back into a plane after another one's been shot down by a parachute, or they make an excuse. There's nothing to say. There's a visionary will just do it. Again, that's what separates There's no, at the highest level, there are no excuses. You just do it. You just
Yeah.
do it.
You said something earlier about courage. Like, so for instance, it's the person who's willing to try something,
There's
fail.
no, that's why I like someone's cult. No, there is no failure. No. There's
Right. I
no,
get it. It's the
no.
experience of it, right?
Right. So most people make excuses. That's why they stay small business owners or consultants or employees. They need that protection. They're not born. That's what I mean. Like, you're either born like this or you're not. Most people, I would guess, would choose to hang out with their family, make a lot of money, do what you like to do and what you're good at, but those four things are excuses. They're not the motivator. So, but entrepreneurs, again, they have the highest IQ, highest EQ, most hustle, not afraid of risk, and they just do it. And that's, I mean, that's all it is. I mean, that's what it is. So when someone comes to me and they just start making an excuse or trying to justify something, I'm like, well, you're just not a visionary then, because you just don't understand what this world actually is. Because entrepreneurs are the most damaged with the most no excuses. That's really that's all it is.
Now, are you saying potentially that if there's a small business owner and he wants to be a big business owner with big visions, that's impossible, or can he learn that?
I don't even know how to answer that question. I don't know why someone would want to be a small business owner. It's confusing to me.
Okay.
I don't even, yeah. So so there are 34, there are 34 strength finders, Gallup Clifton strength finders. I am dead last in empathy and second to last in includer. I have never understood people that didn't think on a global level. I've never understood it. Never. It's completely illogical to me. You, like, even the name of your show, you're chiseling. Why wouldn't you want to create the greatest work of art possible? Why would you want to stay a small business? That's illogical to me. So I don't say anything to that because there's nothing to say. I just spend my time talking to visionaries. I asked you if you'd taken your Colby. If you do take it, send me your score. It's really the only context I need to know if someone's a visionary or not.
Okay.
The overwhelming majority of the people I talk to are at least a 7 quick start like me. 10 is the highest. A 10 quick start in human world is 1 out of 200. In my world, it's like 1 out of 8. Most of the people I talk to are 9 quick starts, which is pure visionary. And then they have little to no follow through. So if they don't hire a million people, disaster. And then my Colby's on the screen there. I have high quick start, high follow through, and high fact finder. That's incredibly rare. It's a unicorn score. And then I'm married to a low quick start, high follow through, high fact finder, stabilizing human. Thank God. Thank God for that. But no, I mean, most visionaries are high quick start, low follow through, ADD. That's what they are.
So the 8, 6, 7, 1 are the 4 categories, correct?
Yes. Yeah. The first one's fact finder. The second is follow through. The third is quick start, which for me, that's really the only one I care about. And then the fourth one is implementer, which in this case means using your hands to build something. If there was a 0 for that, that would be me. I don't know how to hold the pencil right. It goes horribly wrong doing a puzzle with my children. So, but I can see things in space. It can see connectivity in space.
So you say you see things in space or connectivity. Is that an awareness piece?
Tremendous question. You're a tremendous discernment galvanizer with very high intuition. So IamDriven.com takes 5 minutes. Again, strongly recommend you take it. Dr. Doug Brackman, he wrote the book Driven. He's become a good friend of mine. It's a 5-minute assessment on his site. He's an 8 quick start, 2 follow through, by the way, pure visionary. And he said he's never seen a brain like mine. He was very confused in a good way. My intuition is off the charts. It's like it's off. He's like, he's never seen anything like my intuition. I can just see things in space, like you just said, which I think yours is too, by the way. I think you have very high intuition. And then most visionaries are incredibly bored. I'm actually less bored than an average human because I never leave my zone of genius. Most visionaries are shiny object, shiny object, shiny object, shiny object, shiny object. I'm not like that. I just like spending time with my family and connecting visionaries to visionaries.
Yeah, so like the intuition piece, right? It's like I remember when I was young that there was something that happened, and like all of a sudden I'm like, man, I feel like I have this awareness that I didn't know existed.
Yeah, I can hear it. I can
And then
hear
I
it.
started digging into awareness. And in
Mhm.
fact, when I wrote my first book, Better Than You Think, the original title I wanted to be was awareness, but that's just too boring. It's too boring of a title, awareness, right? Or when the light bulb goes off, right? So, or goes on for that matter. So it's like now what happens? Do you find yourself, maybe you don't hang around these people. Like I figure like the awareness piece, sometimes I go deep quick and sometimes it's
Mhm.
too deep.
I don't talk. No, because it goes horribly wrong. I used to do that, but no, it's so one, you are a visionary. You're just surrounded by small business owners. I can hear it. You're just talking to the wrong people because you are not. You're not. You're definitely not a small business owner. You're way too high IQ for that. Oh man, that's got to be very frustrating for you. There's my empathy. My empathy kicking in, but oh god, that's got to be because I know how that feels. I know how that feels to think like this, but and then you're surrounded by people that are like, eh. But okay, so to answer your question, directness eliminates nonsense and attracts greatness. So what I found is being this direct, it truly attracts the top visionaries on the planet because they're like that too. They don't have time to waste with people that don't think big like this. And then it actually happened yesterday. It happens maybe once or twice a year, but it happened yesterday. I was talking, and it almost never happens anymore. But I was talking to someone who wasn't like us, and she's like, I have to go. This is a bad fit. That used to happen a lot when I first started first company, but it almost never happens now. But it happened yesterday because no, there's nothing. It's a one-way conversation into nothing, and then again, confidence attracts confidence, and it repels people that don't get it or who are arrogant. That's what it does.
Yeah, and I appreciate the feedback on me. We just met not too long
I
ago.
don't need, yeah. Well, you wanted to do a pre-interview. I'm like, there's no need for that because I can tell and frankly, you probably don't need to do them anyway either because your intuition's so off the charts. These are better than doing the pre-interviews because then you just learn in real time and your intuition's so high. I mean, you wrote a book basically that was about intuition. So, I mean, I can hear it in you. And again, I can hear you're just talking to the wrong people. I mean, there's no doubt about that for sure. And then
Well,
you're probably you have employees or
yeah, I have a few employees. Yeah.
yeah, you're probably, and are you married to a stabilizing human?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you're probably a 7 or 8 quick start with a 3 or 4 follow through. That'd be
I'm
my
going to do that. I'm going to take that. So,
yeah.
so if I could shift gears on you here real quick, Justin, talk to me about the book, The Epic Life. Can we talk about what that is about?
Oh, sure. So again, thank you. Everything for me is a pattern. Everything. I hear blah 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 talking to ADD folks and then simplify into a pattern. That's just, and actually I think your brain works like that too. But so the formula for creating a successful global company is very simple. It's surprisingly simple. Is you see a problem, create solution, problem solved, successful global company. So you see a problem, create solution, problem solved, successful global company. That's all it is. So Epic Life, very grateful that Dr. Peter Diamandis wrote the forward. He's one of the top entrepreneurs on planet. Very grateful. It's on Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller. Like all of that. It was #1 overall sales on Amazon. Not one of the little category things, but like the whole thing. So I'm very grateful for that. That has happened because it's a solution to the problem. So all I do is talk to visionaries. That's it. I talk to 1 to 2 visionaries because they're the most damaged people with best coping skills. I talk to 1 to 2 a week that have let entrepreneur life destroy their family life or prevented them from anything meaningful or having a family. So Epic Life is how to build collaborative global companies while putting your loved ones first. That's what it's about. Which I know what visionaries want that, but they're so damaged, they don't know how to do it many times. So that's why I wrote it. That is something a visionary can learn.
Now, did that just come to you, or is it something that developed over time?
Man, your brain. Just tremendous. I love it, man. I love it. High IQ. So again, you're either born like this or you're not. And then when you're a journalist for 20 years, you don't get into that for employee count, office space, I don't like revenue. That's just business owner stuff that I've never cared about. Never. I still don't care about. So starting this entrepreneurial journey, totally blank slate. And then you just keep, you get back into the plane without a parachute. So you keep talking to cooler and cooler visionaries and you keep learning every day. You keep chiseling. And then after time, because the chisels, you see the same problem. So when you talk to 1 to 2 people every single week that have let this life destroy their family life, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So you create the solution to it, which I did with First Company. I was a journalist for 20 years, created entire first business based on how PR firms annoyed me for 20 years. Saw a problem, created a solution, problem solved. Okay, same formula. And then Second Company, annoyed by platforms that let everyone in because visionaries don't have time for that. So create high price point, invite only connectivity platform. It's the same formula, but if you keep chiseling and you keep learning and you keep talking to cooler and cooler people, then you see the patterns emerge. And when you see the patterns, that's when you take action. So that was a long-winded answer, but you had a great question, and I thought that's how I would explain it.
No, thank you. And I guess what you just defined is how success leaves clues, right?
100%. Yeah, because, and then again, a visionary will find the clues because they'll never stop chiseling to find the clues. And then in the clues, they create success. Most people, they make excuses, so they never find the clues. They're just collecting a paycheck, which is that's totally fine. I collected a paycheck for more than 2 decades. I get it. I totally understand. But they're not visionaries. And most of the world is not visionaries. They're just not.
Well, let me ask this question. Until the time you discovered you were, up until that point,
Yep.
how much in your head were you and how much tug of war was going on?
No tug of war. And I will explain why.
Yeah.
Because as an entrepreneur who happened to be a journalist, they had no idea what to do with me, and they would just give me weird jobs and let me do whatever I wanted. So the purpose of my life, which is to be connecting superhero for every visionary who shares their stories with the world, that has never changed. I was doing that as an entrepreneur who happened to be a journalist and doing that now owning global PR firm and global connectivity platform. It's just before was doing it for a company or a media outlet, now doing it for the people in my network. That's the only thing that's changed.
So then you became this entrepreneur or business owner, right? You're doing what you're doing right now. I'm sure you've gotten shot down a few times, right?
Well, it's fun. Okay, so reached out just to start First Company, right? I said the story. I'll say it again just to double down on it. So job salary cut in half. Okay, I'll even give you the timeline. February 10th, 2017, job salary was cut in half. Couldn't find a job. April 16th, 2017, incorporated 6 days after turning 40. At the time, our children were, let me think, April 16th, 2017. So they were 4 and 2 at the time. Okay, so a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. We live in the North Shore of Chicago, pretty expensive mortgage. Okay, so incorporated with zero business background, zero. I still don't know what an S Corp is. I didn't know you had to pay taxes 4 times a year. Okay. Then next 6 weeks, while working full-time at half salary, reached out to 5,000 people. It's probably more than 5,000. Well, I know it's more than 5,000, but it's easier to say 5,000. Reached out to 5,000 people to find first 5 clients. So rejected 99.9% of the time or just ignored, like never even. So got 5th client on June 1st. June 2nd resigned, and then June 5th, he's since retired, which I think is interesting. But at the time, Robert Feeder was the top media columnist in the Midwest. He just did a story. I started my own firm. So that was just to start the First Company. That was just to start it. And then to even double down on the doubling down, the best day and worst day of my journalism career was when job salary was cut in half. So the best day and worst day was in the same 5-minute meeting where they cut job salary. That was the best day and worst day. That's not even in the top 50 worst days of being an entrepreneur. Probably top 100. Probably top 100 at this point because it's been more than 6 years. Because most people could never even start a company like that, let alone have 2 global ones. I mean, but most people aren't cut out for that. So it's endless getting shot down. I mean, it never stops.
Well, how did you reach out to 5,000 people in 6 weeks?
That's what people. So business owners love to ask that question because they get confused. So 1, you just do it. 2, I was a journalist and had a giant social media following, and then reached out to basically all of them, which was well over 5,000. Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going to go down that social media, path, but I
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
100% sure.
You're relating to the audience. I appreciate that. But yeah, I know it when it's a real business owner, they'll ask me the same question about the start 5 different times because they stop at the start. They can't even understand. No, you just do it. There's no one. My favorite PR story, and favorite is the wrong word, but PR partner. His grandfather was decapitated in front of him, in Burma, Burma, when he was a kid. And then he went to Hong Kong with him and his dad with $10 in their pocket. He and his dad created 2 8-figure companies, and then he hired my PR firm. To promote this at-home robot that has like a pill dispenser and a drone. It keeps people with Alzheimer's and dementia company because his mom has Alzheimer's dementia. So that's a visionary. That is not a business owner. He's definitely in all 4. He's without a doubt in all 4. But that's what it is. So like most people they would have stayed in Burma or they just would have stayed in Burma.
Wow. So I got to ask this question though, Justin. Where are you like spiritually? You think like this awareness piece?
Tremendous question, man. I love it. One of the chapters in there's a long answer to that, usually is, but so one of the chapters in Epic Life is God winks.
God
winks with a K, like
winks.
God
Okay.
Winks. Yeah. So I believe things are just meant to be. I stopped believing in randomness a long time ago. The only proof, this is a joke, but not a joke. So most people laugh at this, but it's not a joke, even though it kind of is. The only proof of a higher power that I need is that someone like my wife married someone like me. That makes right. So it's funny, but it's true. Okay. Right. When you're probably in the same situation, like what? How did that happen? But it did. And then again, in multiple top entrepreneur groups in the world, I invest well over 6 figures to be in these groups and then created my own. Almost always, in a breakout or discussion, religion comes up. It doesn't matter which one it is, but it's almost always religion. So just for more context on that, I was raised Jewish. I guess my wife and kids are technically Jewish. I almost married a Southern Baptist black woman where I was the only white person in the church. And they were dunking people in bathtubs and there were neon crosses. I've taken communion in Catholic churches multiple times and then endlessly fascinated by LDS Mormons. I think that's the most interesting entrepreneurial religion. So I think in religion, it's just an entrepreneurial operational system. It's just an EOS. That's what religion is. It's just a rule book if done the right way, it's a rule book for visionaries.
Right. But you said you believe things are meant to be. There's
100%.
Right. So you believe that there is a God that's
absolutely. I'm amazed by the entrepreneurs that don't believe in a higher power. I'm actually, I mean, it's okay, I guess. I'm just surprised because, like, 1, it's very comforting. 2, I've seen so many things that happen that like aren't explainable, so I've just stopped trying to explain it. Like things are just meant to. Like the fact that how my parents met or how my dad survived, and like he should have been killed so many times in combat. Or how I met my wife, or how starting first company. Like eventually you just get to the point where like it's just meant to be. It's just meant to be.
So how much more chiseling you got going on in your life?
Never stop chiseling. You never stop. So okay.
I love that.
I'm guessing. Well, why would you? That's illogical. You never stop. So there's 2 things to say to that. 1, if you haven't listened to Earl Nightingale, he's the OG. You remind me a lot of him. That's a very high compliment.
Thank you.
Earl Nightingale. Do you know who that is?
I know exactly who. The strangest secret, I think, is
Yes. Okay. So he has 2 great quotes. 1, my favorite of his is "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Success is progressive realization of worthy ideal." So you just keep doing it. And then 2 is you become what you think about. You become what you think about. So you think about becoming top visionary on planet. You think about that. No, nothing will stop you. You think about a higher power, then you do it. Most people won't think about that because they're not top visionary on planet, but the top visionary on planet will think about that. So that's 1. 2, my 9-year-old son. We have a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old. They are both geniuses like my wife with my whatever this brain is. So I was talking to my 9-year-old when he was 8. and he's a little version of an Earl Nightingale. We were out to dinner, and we were talking about bending time, and IQ. And so Chase, he provided the single best definition of life that I've ever heard, and all I do is talk to geniuses all day. So Chase considers life one long great day. So yesterday's before you were born, tomorrow's after you die. So there's no Thursday or August, whatever. I mean, if you think about it, that's just a human term that's made up. Okay. And then he said, because he's a simplifier like me into patterns, there are only two ways to have a great long day. Only two. One, create more living things. Fundamental purpose of any living thing is to create more living things. So that could be a human life. It could be planting a tree or a flower. I don't know. Raising an animal. Have a pet. A foundation, a company. That's a living thing. And then two, do what you like to do and what you're good at and continue to get better at it. Always chisel, get better at it. So that's the single best definition of life that I've ever heard.
Well, must be why I like gardening. I like bringing those things to life, the vegetables, the fruits. I love watching that. I'm in my element there, and I want to get better. Always want to get better.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah, it's you know, again, I don't even say the word, but RETIRE, business owners can't wait for that. A human employee can't wait for that. A visionary would never even think about doing that. That's illogical because that would stop your own chiseling. You would never do that.
Yeah, I tell people I'm never going to retire. I'll retire.
Why would you do that? I don't even say it. Like I don't even like to spell it out.
I'll be retired when I'm 6 feet under. That's when I'll be retired. You know?
Yeah. Well, and then also to that point, like, even though my dad's long gone, he's still, watching over me. He's definitely watching over my children. He's, my oldest child's named after him. So, like, even when you're gone in that world, there's, again, according to Chase, which I agree with, tomorrow is after you die. So you're still in tomorrow after you die. It's just a different way of thinking.
Do you believe in that eternal life?
Oh, 100%. Well, yeah, again, I mean, 100%. One, it's comforting. Two, I know my dad's been watching over me for sure since he died, 1991, and finding that diary of his after he died. If ever an excuse pops into my mind, which is very rare, but if it does, I'll go down and I'll read the diary. And I'm like, oh, okay, enough of that. So he's still there. He always will be there. And then to see my children. To see him and my children, because he was a pure, I mean, no excuses. They're even more like him than I am. So to see them and him and them I'm very grateful for that. Incredibly grateful.
That's a beautiful thing, right? It's beautiful.
That's the most beautiful thing. The most, and the second most, that's the most by far. The second most is my wife, because she's been hanging around Visionaries for so long now. She's transitioning out of pediatrics, and she's the COO of the second company, the network company. And she's an onboarding machine. She's a machine with high IQ and Harmony Relator as her strength finders. And so to see her become, I guess, somewhat of a visionary, not really, but like wanting to hang out with more people like visionaries, that's incredibly gratifying to see that, because she never would have taken any chances like that in her life if she hadn't married someone like me. And I would be, I don't know, dead, but I'd be, I wouldn't have any type of life without her. So We've benefited greatly from each other.
Justin, man, I've really enjoyed this conversation here. It's been awesome for me.
Me too. Ditto.
Yeah. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, or let me put it this way, if a visionary wanted to get
way to chisel that brain of yours.
So if a visionary wanted to reach out to you, could they reach out to you, and how?
Well, one, please take your Colby. I'd like to see your score and send it to me. Anyone who wants to reach out to me, I'm going to ask them to do that. I'm not affiliated with Colby. They don't pay me. I just want to know, because I'll know right away if someone's a visionary or not. But, Epic Life's all over the world, and you can find me wherever. I'm all over. So
that's awesome. Hey, Justin, if you'd stay on a minute after we stop this recording, I'd love to chat with you one more quick second.
That sounds great. This is a tremendous interview.
Thank you so much. So I appreciate your time, Justin. Everybody, listen to this multiple times. There's so many good nuggets of information
Lots
here.
of stuff, yeah.
I appreciate it. And until next time, everybody, Let's go get chiseled.